Alright, everybody on Genedocs templates, many people want to learn how to do 3D effects with ancestors on the chart. I'm going to zoom in on my desktop here, show you this is a shortcut to MS Paint. That's what I'm going to go into first of all. So bear with me as I go to that. Alright, Paint basically opens up a simple window. And up here you have very few basically tabs to use. I always use the edit paste from option, and it's going to give me an option of these. Get to go with details. I'm going to go up to my portraits from my desktop. I have a shortcut to portraits. I'm going to the list, details. Okay, I can scroll down till I get to Richard, Grandpa Richard's number 4. I have a section called 3D, so go back to thumbnail view. Obviously there's a bunch of pictures of him already, but those are finished projects. I'm going to go down to his picture that I started with to give an example of how to do this. Here's Richard at Fort Bayard before his discharge in New Mexico. Gonna use that. Okay, here we are in Paint. Alright, this is the picture here. You'll notice that I have a little outline around Richard already, but the way I got that outline around Grandpa Richard was to take this tool here, the line. I go down to the bottom. You can choose the thickness you want. You have to go to, well, I gotta view the palette too, wherever it went. Down at the bottom, you want to go down to the palette and pick white, and that will allow you to make a line. I'll exaggerate it here. If you make a line, clicking and dragging and letting go, you can just make an outline around your ancestor with those pictures, with these lines. If you mess something up, just hit edit, undo, and the line disappears. Now take note that you can only do that 3 times. So if you make 3 errors in a row, that's the most that the edit undo will work. If you make 4, you're out of luck. You're going to start all over again. So just take note of that. It's important to remember. 3 errors is the max that you want to make on any of this. The nice thing is you can zoom in with this magnifier, and you can look at anywhere in this box, and you can choose the magnification level over here. 1 times, 2 times, 6 times, 8 times. So you can pick the level of detail that you want. If I'm looking at Richard's head, you can see all the lines I did around him. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out to about 2 times. That way you can actually scroll down with the bar over here, so you can look at his whole picture. Basically, I cropped all the way around Richard to get the picture of him. You know, I went around his hands carefully, around his pants and his leggings, and went around his boots, even captured his shadow in several of the croppings that I did. But if you do this and then you go up here and you have it fully cropped, you can actually take the picture out, and I want to show you how to do white space and get rid of some of the background. If you use this tool up here, this is the dotted line square box. It's a select area. Okay, you can also select freeform. That takes a little more skill depending on what you want to try. I'm going to take the select area. If you look what I do, I click and I drag and I'm pulling it over a whole area by Richard up to his shoulder. Once you've selected that, if you hit the delete button and watch what happens, it gets rid of all that behind him. I'll do it again over here to the left of him. I select, and I'm careful what I select, and then I want to delete. It gets rid of that area behind him. You can rapidly get rid of the background behind your subject of your cropping very quickly. You just want to be careful not to cut into those white lines. The white lines are a good idea first, because then it gives you a framework to crop within, so you don't end up having to redo it several times. Once you get to this point and you have most of the area out of the way, you can actually use this other tool, the paintbrush. It's a spray paint can. Sorry about that. The spray paint can is different than the brush, but either one would work. I prefer the spray can, and you can pick different sizes here. There's a large spray can, medium, and small. The smaller it is, the more detail you're going to get in it. So I have it selected at white, and I'll just do a little bit here. You can see it gets rid of a lot of the detail around the edges, but you just want to dab it, and again 3 times for errors. You don't want to make too many errors beyond 3, because it won't undo on the edit menu above. So I can basically get rid of a lot of this stuff around his edging once I've got the majority of the background done. And that's pretty much the essentials on what you're going to do with your ancestor to get them down, and just try and cut out what you want. Be mindful of the shadows. Like if I want to leave his cuff looking like a cuff, that looks kind of like it right there. And you want to take it down and just be careful. You can do a single tap or you can click and drag, but click just very carefully, and use your white lines as well if you get to a tough spot. And that's pretty much how to crop an ancestor. If you look at this is a pretty good finished product of the top half of Richard. And you can see how I would basically go through and do some big crops on his leg areas to keep his legs separate from the rest of this background. But of course I'd go through first and make the white lines around his hands, his pants, the boots, and his leggings, spats, or whatever you want to call them. We used them as spats in a marching band. But that gives you an idea. Once you get that, you want to go up top and you want to save as under the file menu. You'll come up here and let me get up there. You go to file and you'll save as, because you want to call it something different than the original file you pasted in. So if I do a file save as, I can just pick any name right down here in the file name box. And it's good to choose JPEGs. I'll note that Facebook is only accepting JPEGs now. It's probably due to a lot of memory with the bitmap images. So definitely save as a JPEG. It'll have a little less detail, but it still makes a great picture. If you're doing fine-tuned work, you can save as a bitmap and then save later again as a JPEG. And that's pretty much it for that. I'll move next to the section I do in GIMP to insert this picture of Richard on top of a chart and show you how to manipulate the background to where it looks right, and you use the erase button and change the perspective. So I'm going to pause for now.